community, and social justice. As we gather, I acknowledge that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chemakum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting today, I offer a special welcome and invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service. We have a newcomers table near the patio doors where our greeters are ready to answer any questions you might have. So may the welcome that we offer you be in equal measure to the one in our hearts. Let us settle our minds and calm our hearts.
We light today's chalice with these words from Francis Coser. May the act of lighting our chalice this morning remind us that we are stronger together in all the complexities and the disagreements of relationship because we are different and we are one.
As we settle down into colder days and longer nights and look forward to the beginning of the return of the light this month, we've come to the time in our fellowship when we light each new candle each Sunday until Christmas Eve. The flame of each new candle reminds us that something is happening now. The light of these candles grows brighter and brighter each Sunday. Okay, I think I said that already. Guiding us towards a deeper faith, increased hope, shared joy, and more love. Last week, we lit the candle of faith. This morning, we light our second candle, the candle of hope. I now invite Maya to come up and light the candle of hope.
Second candle for hope, for strength and courage, dreams and visions, for caterpillars and seeds, for new days and new ways, for all the things that help us choose to keep going and doing what we know to be right and true. We light this candle for hope.
Our opening song this morning is Gather the Spirit, number 347. And I'm going to sing the first verse twice. You can sing it with me if you know it, and if you don't know it, you'll learn it. So. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once. Okay, we'll do it again. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Okay, verse 2. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love and conscience refined, a body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Didn't need no words. I'm going to read from up here. Children can stay with their folks. Our story is Yes, No, a first conversation about consent. And I'm making a gift of this book to your congregation, so you'll have a chance to check it out. It's terrific. This is my body, and it belongs to me. I'm learning all the names of my body parts. Belly button, butt, vulva, penis, elbows, nipples. I'm the boss of my body. I like doing things that feel good. She's putting paint all over her body. It doesn't always feel like I'm the boss of my body. Her mom is giving her a bath to wash off the paint. My grown-ups make some choices for me because it's their job to keep me safe and healthy. Sometimes I don't like the choices that grown-ups make for me, and I feel upset. It feels better when grown-ups ask first or let me know what's happening and why. Everyone is different. Some people love hugs. Some people would rather blow a kiss. Some people love to get dressed. Others would rather be naked. People like and want different things at different times. The only way to know what someone wants or likes to do is to ask. Asking if something's okay with someone is called asking for their consent. When we ask someone for consent, they might say yes or no. If someone says yes, it means you have their consent. But if they don't say yes, the answer is no. When someone says or shows no, it's our job to listen and stop right away. There are lots of ways that people say no when they don't want to do something, so we need to pay extra attention. The examples are stop, not really, maybe later, I don't know, not today, maybe, I don't like that, and I'm not sure. All those things are no. There are lots of ways that people show no, too. A no can be a sound. It can even be silent. And one of the pictures is a child hiding behind their parent. Sometimes a yes can change into a no. Everyone is allowed to change their mind. It's okay if you hurt someone's feelings when you say no. What you want for your own body matters. And it's okay if your feelings are hurt when someone says no to you. What they want for their own body matters too. Sometimes it's hard to say or show no. Grown-ups can help you say no or help you make a different choice. We all have the right to make choices about our bodies. Whether the answer is no or yes, consent feels good. Please form an arch in the center aisle and let us sing our children out to their classes.
Call now in peace, call now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Call now in peace, call now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
We pause for a time of generosity and to receive an offering. On the first Sunday of each month, our offering is split between the food bank and QUUF. The ushers will come among you to receive the offering, and additional ways for giving will be projected. Please join me in the offering words. This fellowship is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it.
Okay, here we go. All right. 2, 1, 2.
This time is set aside to share our joys and sorrows. We recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And thus we place a first stone, which I got. Thinking in particular of those who suffer from grief, war, and injustice. We also hold in our hearts the joys of this life. They bring us lightness and rest. We place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but of no less importance.
Let us now enter into a time of quiet meditation, a loving kindness meditation. It's always important to start a loving kindness meditation with ourselves. As the Buddha has said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserves your love and affection. Just repeat after me. May I know the beauty of my own true nature. May I know the beauty of my own true nature. May all my suffering cease. May all my suffering cease. May I be healed. May I be healed. May I dwell in the heart of peace. May I dwell in the heart of peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May all your suffering cease. May all your suffering cease. May you be healed. May you be healed. May you dwell in the heart of peace. May you dwell in the heart of peace. May all beings in all realms know the beauty of their own true natures. May all beings in all realms know the beauty of their own true natures. May the suffering of all beings in all realms cease. May the suffering of all beings in all realms cease. May all beings in all realms be healed. May all beings in all realms be healed. May all beings in all realms dwell in the heart of peace. May all beings in all realms dwell in the heart of peace.
Special music. Sorry.
Hi, everyone.
Joining us this morning is Reverend Barbara Cornell, who is currently a hospital chaplain at Providence Swedish Edmonds Hospital. She's joined an About Your Sexuality class in 1973, and after Barbara became a religious educator at the Shoreline UU congregation, she and her husband, Dane Scott, became trained AYS facilitators. When Our Whole Lives arrived in 2000, Barbara brought that program to her congregation. She and Dane are proud parents of Katie and Will, who naturally are OWL graduates. Welcome, Barbara. Reverend Barbara.
Dear ones, how are you doing? After another week of hair-raising disasters, it is my prayer that you are finding a way to balance the news with some much-needed self-compassion and self-care, because we're in this for the long haul. One of the things that's been helping me is the reality that none of us is alone dealing with all this terrible news. There are lots of other people who feel as we feel and who want what we want. More love in the world, more inclusion and acceptance. That's what we want. When I'm with my UU community, it helps me to remember who I am and what matters to me. Like when we can remember who we are and tell the stories of successes we've been a part of and good things we've all worked on together, it helps us have some hope that we can keep working together to, quote, pull on the arc of the moral universe to bend it toward justice. This is a quote from Congresswoman Shontel Brown, who says this whole arc of the universe thing is a more active process than the original quote from Theodore Parker or Dr. King's use of it would indicate. We have to pull on it for all we're worth. It isn't just going to bend. I thought that was so amazing when I saw that. The story I'm going to tell you today is a wonderful story of three remarkable people who pulled on that arc for all they were worth. Their amazing story is a true success in our Unitarian Universalist history that I hope you will find as encouraging and as inspiring as I do. When we think about our children and what we want for them, do we think about a healthy sexuality and sex life? Sexuality is so central to our identity and our ability to lead fulfilling lives. Our society helps us help our kids develop academic excellence, athletic skills, even musical training. But our culture really lets all of us down when it comes to learning about healthy sexuality. This is apparently as true today as it was in the 60s. Here's one wise person's take on our current situation. This is a quote from a recent column written by Carolyn Hacks of Dear Carolyn I'm seeing a nodding head, from the Washington Post. It's a syndicated one, and the Seattle Times carries it, and I am so grateful. I love reading her. She is completely amazing. It is one of my favorite parts of the day to check out Carolyn's good advice. This is a partial quote from her answer to a husband who is not talking to his wife about how he feels about their sex life. Quote, most of us arrive at committed relationships unprepared for these conversations, despite some heroic efforts in public health to counteract misinformation and prudery. There are still well-meaning but misguided parents burying their awkwardness in avoidance and inane body part pseudonyms. Then peer, as in other kids, and fear culture jumps in to stereotype us into airless little boxes. Then reactionaries shriek about drawings, exclamation point, in library books, exclamation point, while a pipeline of live-action smut gushes to devices owned by middle schoolers whose eyes simply cannot be supervised and controlled enough to protect them. End quote. Isn't that awesome? Our children, all children, deserve better, and thanks to many wonderful educators. Over the past 60 years in the UUA, we have very helpful programs to support a healthy sexuality for everyone. Our program is a lifespan program with different curricula for different ages, and it's called Our Whole Lives, or OWL. The most comprehensive of the curricula is designed for middle school-aged children, the age when most of them are not yet sexually active. This, according to the experts, is a great time to learn. This topic is very near and dear to my heart because, as you learned from my short biographic statement, I was a participant in an early UUA comprehensive sexuality program called About Your Sexuality, or AYS. I was in high school, and my friends invited me to the local Unitarian fellowship for the class. I came from a home where we didn't talk much about sexuality, except in kind of a mocking way, like when we were going through puberty, and a humorous way. I think that's pretty typical. It was at the time. I got a lot of vibes, not actual education, from our culture and movies that it was clear that sexuality was powerful and important. How about here at Quimper? Would you hold up your hand if you're a facilitator, or if you've had or are now taking AYS or OWL? Yeah. Lovely, lovely. That's pretty awesome. Looking back at that AYS class that I attended with my friends and thinking about my life, I can see that I made some major decisions based on the information I learned. Not just the facts about birth control or sexually transmitted infections, which indeed was very helpful, but the values that were shared, the UU values of respect for other people and my body, mutuality. Mutuality, like I never heard of that before. Mutuality, compassion, equality, and the all-important trust. They trusted us with this valuable information. All of us, all the youth, had worth and dignity. I did not get that from my family or from my school. I got that from church. Can you believe it? Isn't that awesome? It was as if these people were saying to me, to all of us, the kids in the class, "Dear children, we love you. We want you to have truthful, useful information so you can make healthy decisions about your life." Like, wow. This experience made a huge impression on me. It absolutely made me a UU for life. Who are these people, I wondered. I remember actually wondering this. Who are these people, and how did they push through their fear for their children to having the courage to give them information they would need to make those healthy choices? What I've learned is that About Your Sexuality was a passion project for several religious educators. As I learned when I read the beautiful thesis paper of Reverend Sarah Gibb Millspaugh, in the 1960s, American culture was coming to terms with information about sexuality. From the Kinsey Report, the report about men came out in the late 40s, the report about women in the early 50s. And the approval from the FDA of the birth control pill in 1960. In the 60s, we're about 30 years out from the Humanist Manifesto, now known as Humanist Manifesto 1, to distinguish it from the two others that have come after. In the manifesto, it specifically says that sex is something that brings joy to our lives and that people deserve that joy. They believed in the worth and dignity of youth. These things are more important to them than sin and salvation. A new national organization was formed during this time in 1964 called SECUS, which stands for the Sexuality Information and Education Council of the United States. Dr. Mary Calderon, a regular visit on, MERV, was one of the early founders. She was the medical director at Planned Parenthood, and she had a lot of concerns about the general lack of accurate information about sexuality. She had kind of a front row seat on the level of ignorance. All of these factors together conspired into the creation of About Your Sexuality. 3 religious educators from that era who were central to the development of AYS all spoke to me in 2006 when I was in seminary writing my UU history paper on this topic. Of course, it's my topic. They are all gone from us now, bless them, and I'm so very grateful I had the opportunity to speak with them. All 3 identified as humanists, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Elaine Smith was the religious educator at University Unitarian Church starting in the 60s, the largest UU church in the greater Seattle area. She had, in her peak years, 500 children on that campus. Can you imagine? Multiple services, but 500 children. That just boggles me. She had incredible support from her congregation to create a program of sexuality education for the youth. Parents made it very clear to her they needed help. The Reverend Dr. Roberta Nelson was a religious educator for the First Parish in Needham, Massachusetts in the 60s. She, too, experienced the distress of parents at the lack of a useful sexuality education program for their children. Both of these religious educators stressed to me that there was a great need and that they wanted to fill the gap. Both of them in their local communities on either side of the country were developing sex ed programs. In another example of a medical doctor sounding the alarm, Dr. Nelson's own gynecologist wanted to work with her to develop a program because young people really needed the information. She told me she reached out to other liberal congregations in her area to see what they were doing to support youth. The program they developed was mainly a way to answer questions. Elaine Smith at University Unitarian also reached out to local colleagues in Seattle. She worked with her counterpart at University Disciples of Christ Church, Eugene Kidder, and they created a unique program for Seattle youth and their parents called Freedom and Responsibility. This is not to be confused with the UUA curriculum of the same name, published in 1969. The Seattle area's Freedom and Responsibility curriculum had units on communication, law, health, and sexuality. She found psychologists in her congregation, that was huge, psychologists, lawyers, police, and nurses and doctors to help lead those groups. It took very little time for the leaders to figure out which was the most popular unit. It was on sexuality. And as she was talking about this popular unit with one of her colleagues, she learned that there was a grad student doing sex ed research with youth at the West Seattle YMCA. His name was Derek Calderwood, and he was working towards his PhD. with one of Kinsey's folks in Oregon, and he had creative ideas about how to help adult facilitators and youth get on the same page with language and a wonderful way to manage the questions from the youth. Any sexuality education program that the UUs would create must have facilitators answering every question from the youth. All three educators I spoke with felt incredibly strongly about this point. I had the opportunity, through the miracle of interlibrary loan, to read Derek's dissertation. He learned some very important things in his research, including that the highest priority for the youth were the topics that no one would speak with them about, and that they didn't want to do the things they were learning about. This, of course, is a fear of adults, that kids will hear about something and want to try it. Turns out that was not the case. Another innovation he brought to us at that time was how important it is to have boys and girls in the same class, learning together so they could practice talking with each other in a kind of a low-stakes way. You're just in my class. You're not like, I don't have every hormone activated because of you. Low stakes. They can practice talking to each other, about the issues that come up and get comfortable with that, with those conversations. I just think that is so awesome. The youth who go through this program can bring up issues a lot of youth and adults apparently cannot, will not, do not talk about with their partner. This turns out to be really important. As you recall, most puberty information is shared in sex-segregated classrooms in most schools, so that is the norm. His idea about the co-ed classes was unique. He also learned, which I think is super interesting, that parent education level had nothing to do with parent willingness to talk to their kids about sexuality. Even very educated folks aren't better at talking to their kids, which I thought was really something. Most youth rated the sex education they got at church as the poorest, and that was definitely to change over the next 50 years for children and youth in UU congregations. The third religious educator in this remarkable story was the head of curriculum development at the UUA at the time. His name was Reverend Hugo. Everyone called him Holly. His last name's Holleroth. Holly Holleroth, a very dear man. When we spoke, he shared how pivotal a Loretta Fall Conference was to all of their thinking. Loretta is the professional association for religious educators. It stands for the Liberal Religious Educators Association. One year, it was decided they would invite Derek and make sex ed the theme of the fall conference. It was there that they did some of the exercises that Derek had created for the youth. Now think of this. Most of the people in that room grew up in homes like mine, where parents like mine didn't talk about sexuality, and there they were, doing some of the exercises that have become infamous over the years. Session 3 in particular is the one where you put body and activity words on butcher paper all around the room, and then everybody, facilitators included, put every slang term they can think of up there. And after that night, the students know that this isn't like any other sex ed class they have ever been in. It has been my experience, almost 15 years at DRE, that most young people commit and stay for the rest of the year after that night. I always tell parents, just tell them try 3 nights. Just do 3 times and then see what you think. And that experience made a huge impression on the people at the conference. At that conference, they all had a lived experience of how very important this curriculum was going to be for all of us moving forward. Their passion and enthusiasm carried them through the writing, the field tests, and finally, the publication of About Your Sexuality. There would be numerous obstacles along the way and challenges, but the most memorable challenge came from a conservative district attorney from Brookfield, Wisconsin, a suburb of Milwaukee, that apparently was a hotbed of the John Birch Society. D.A. Robert McConnell threatened the church in Brookfield, Wisconsin, with a lawsuit. The UUA, led at that time by Robert Nelson West, who never gets his due, I don't think, one of our former presidents, he's the same guy who gave the Beacon Press the go-ahead to publish the Pentagon Papers, not a guy to shrink from a conflict. He sent a team of obscenity lawyers from Boston to coach the Wisconsin lawyers, who ended up taking the case all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court kicked it back to the Court of Appeals, which said essentially, churches decide what they teach their children. While all this was playing out in the courts, there was an election, and Mr. McConnell was soundly defeated. I found the New York Times article from 1972, and it's on a table in the other room. So, who were these people? How did they push through their fear to help their children? This beautiful curriculum that doesn't say Unitarian, Universalist anywhere in it tells you all you need to know about these amazing UU religious educators. It may not name our faith, but our values are absolutely the inspiration for all of it. Unitarians and Universalists and Unitarian Universalists have always cared about the truth and about the application of reason to improve our lives right now. We all come from a long line of liberal religious folks who were always willing to take great risks to do the right thing. Comprehensive human sexuality education with our UU values was absolutely the right thing. It was then, it still is now. No matter who the president is, no matter what the composition of the Supreme Court, the Senate, or the House for that matter, this story about who we are inspires me to keep love at the center of all that I do, of all my interactions. This is our work to do. I'm so grateful that we don't have to do this work alone. I'm so grateful that we have each other. So may it be, and amen. Won't you please rise in body or spirit to sing our next hymn?
It's 131 in the book, if you want to look in the book. We'll sing the gray hymnal that's probably under the chair in front of you. We'll sing the first verse twice in case you don't know it. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way. On the road from greed to giving, love will guide us through the hard night. And one more time. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way. On the road from greed to giving, love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. astride us, hope inside us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Today are may we always keep love at the center of all that we do. This is our work, our chosen path, and I'm so grateful that we get to do this work together. Please join us in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not our light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.